My name is Brian Matiash. I'm a photographer and an author, and I'm also a Sony artisan of imagery. And I'm really excited to kind of go over and share with you kind of like my first thoughts and impressions of the brand new Sony a7 II, which is on pre-order right now, but it'll be shipping very, very soon. My good friends at Sony and lensrentals.com actually sent me one today so I can, play around with it. So let's just kind of get to it. I've got the Sony a7 II here, and just kind of for comparison across different things, I also have the Sony a7, which is the predecessor to the a7 II, and the a7R, which is a 36 megapixel version of the camera. The a7 and the a7R launched same day and date, followed by the a7S, which is the camera that's recording this video, and then to the right here is the a6000. So just a whole, smorgasbord of Sony cameras for video and stills. So let's just go straight to the superficial parts, meaning the outer elements. I've been using the Sony a7 line for a while now, actually since it was first released late last year. And I can tell you right off the bat, the construction of the a7 II is amazing. I never really had a problem with the ergonomics of the a7. You can kind of see here. It actually, the size might throw you off because I have my Really Right Stuff L plate on, which I use all the time, along with this wrist grip. This over here, though, just feels great. Most notably is the extension of the grip, the hand grip itself. It comes out much longer than the a7. If we can kind of get a comparison here, there is the difference between the two. So it just comes out more, and then the shutter button is placed, I guess, more logically or more comfortably where you would expect it to. So there's no kind of reaching around. On top of that, also, there are 4 custom buttons. There are 2 custom buttons right above the shutter button, which is great. I actually have a C1 set to focus magnify. So when I'm doing manual focus, it'll let me zoom in and get fine-tuned focusing. C2 is actually set to change the focus mode. So if I want to change it from just autofocus everywhere to a spot or center, I can do that really quickly. They also kind of beveled the edge right above the viewfinder, or rather the LCD. It still articulates the same way, but instead of on the a7, which is kind of flat and it's flush with the rest of the body, the a7 II kind of has this really nice bevel. So there is the 3rd custom button, and then the 4th custom button is in the same place, which shares with the delete key when you're in preview mode. So again, it just feels great. It really, really feels great. Just as soon as I took it out of the box, that was the first thing I noticed, was how good it feels. On top of that, the memory card door, let me see if I can kind of get it here for the side camera, is smaller on the a7 II. It swings out the same way, but it's definitely has a smaller, lower profile, which is fine. What is interesting, though, on the a7 II are the 2 doors, the port doors. On the original series, they kind of are flush, one on top of the other, and they open in the same direction. With the a7 II, they open up kind of, and they slide down. They're kind of on almost like a little bit of a hinge, which is nice. The other doors kind of, firmly open outward. So this is really great. And they open in the same direction. So it's easier to get to the ports, in my opinion. So one of the questions that I've been getting on social media already is around the sound of the shutter. For some reason, that was something that's always been on people's minds. And so I figured I'd just give a quick demonstration. All the cameras are set to 1/40th of a second, just for consistency. We'll start with the regular a7. That's the a7. Let's do the a7 II. And then the a7R. So The A7 and the A7 II kind of sound the same. No issues. I never really had an issue with the shutter, so there's that. Overall, the main benefits of the a7 II have to do with the 5-axis in-body image stabilization. So the camera will actually kind of compensate for any movements regardless of whether you're kind of tilting it like this, forward and backwards, or just general shakes. This is really great for handheld photography and also for video. Now what I want to do is kind of also show the autofocusing. So the a7 II has the same sensor as the original a7, the 24 megapixel sensor, but there have been some improvements to it, especially around focusing with the autofocus. So what I'm going to do is just going to turn the camera off, connect my Sony FE 16 to 35 millimeter lens, which is also new and just recently came out. And what I'd like to do is show you the autofocusing, how it's changed. So what I'm going to do is turn it on to autofocus continuous, and you should be able to see when I start focusing. Hopefully it'll register, but you've got these dots that are tracking focus points, which is awesome. I mean, that's a huge improvement. This is something that was borrowed from the a6000 line, which has just blazing fast autofocusing. So it's really nice to see that Sony went to lengths to improve on that as they iterated on the body. Overall, I've used it a little bit. I just got it about an hour and a half ago. I've used it a little bit. This image stabilization is fantastic. The fact that it's in body means that it's really able to be equipped with just about any lens you put on to a degree. Depending on the third-party lens, you might not get all 5-axis image stabilization. You might only get 3. But if you're using a native Sony FE lens, you're really covered in terms of shakes and jitters. Overall, I'm going to do more of a greater deep dive this weekend as I go out shooting. But if you have any questions specifically around the camera, how it compares to the other A7 cameras, leave a comment, shoot me an email, however you want to get in touch with me. I'll follow up with some more videos and some image examples, but overall, I'm super excited. I'm super happy with what Sony is doing here with the A7 line. It's great to see them being so aggressive. They're also the first camera manufacturer to release a full-frame mirrorless camera, so there's that, but then also the first to add 5-axis image stabilization in body, so you don't even have to worry about having it in the lens. This should result in smaller, lighter lenses as well that don't need to have image stabilization mechanisms within the chassis of the lens itself. So future is looking really, really cool right now, and I want to thank you very much for paying attention, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye-bye.